I'm Jonathan Goodman. I'm one of the directors for Streetcar Named Desire.
And I'm Kayla Moyers. I'm one of the other directors for Streetcar Named Desire.
This is Rocco. He is assistant to the directors. I feel that one of the main ones that we're wanting to kind of help focus on is bring light to the mental health challenges that everybody has. Everything's on a spectrum these days, and mental health is absolutely right in that wheelhouse. You know, people suffer from depression, but they don't talk about it, or people have, narcissistic personality disorders. I mean, it can run the gamut of just having a melancholy type day, and because it's not in the forefront, people aren't talking about it. And so I'm hoping that this brings that particular theme kind of a little bit more to the forefront for a lot of people who suffer from those.
Yeah. There's definitely also a lot of violence against women, especially depicted in this show, and that's an ever-prevalent theme in today's society and has always been kind of a theme. So the more we see it and the more we accept that it's here, the more we can fight against it and work against the mindset of people who would like to perpetrate violence against women. I think also themes of not just the mental health disorders themselves, but also families living with mental health disorders, because it doesn't just affect people who are afflicted, it also affects the people who are around them in a very substantial way, and it has very big impacts on just day-to-day life, trying to live with someone who is suffering. So I think we see a lot of that in this show, and how Blanchett coming into their lives completely upends things. So that's another big theme that I think is prevalent. So I think we definitely started off very much trying to build not just characters, but real people. So the first thing we did with our cast was to sit down and have very frank discussions about who these people are and what do their lives look like, what are their jobs, how did they get to where they are now, and why do they make the decisions that they do. What is their armor, what makes them tick, what kind of traumas inform their reactions to things, all of those really intense questions that some people don't even ask about themselves, let alone ask about a character that they're going to portray. But at the end of the day, we wanted these characters to be real flesh and blood and not just words on a page. So,
and growing up in the Deep South, in the area, I mean, I grew up in South Louisiana near New Orleans, spent some time in New Orleans, grew up in Mississippi near where Laurel is. Hattiesburg, Mississippi is where I kind of spent some of my childhood years as well. There's a certain level of hospitality, Southern hospitality, and decorum that kind of takes place that doesn't really happen anywhere else in the places that I've lived. So, to be able to kind of bring that to these characters so that they can help inform some of their other decisions. These are just some core memory decisions that are based on what happened to them as a child, but then as they grew up, it just kind of incubated and became more. So to be able to kind of offer that kind of insight as well was part of the reason that I was really looking forward to directing Streetcar.
I hope that audiences are first and foremost moved by the performances that they see on stage, because isn't that the point of theater, is to go and to feel something? It's not always fun, it's not always funny. Sometimes it's depictions of the real world and of hardships, and sometimes you find catharsis in seeing, dramatizations of something that you've experienced, or any number of reasons. But I do think at the end of the day, I want people to feel what Blanche feels. I want people to experience that true emotion. And that's why we've worked so hard to help the actors build their characters from the ground up and make them people, so that every emotion that is displayed on stage is authentic and and makes you feel just as much as they feel. So that's definitely a big thing I'd like people to take away.
I hope people take away, especially those that might be experiencing some of the themes we spoke of earlier in the show, that they're not alone. There is help out there. It may not be in the forefront the way we hoped it would be, but to say, hey, you're not going through this alone. Others have been there. Others will be there. To seek help and to kind of talk to a family member or a friend if something's happening in the family, to be able to kind of find solace and help for yourself. That's what I hope those that do come see the show, that see something maybe that they recognize, then can do something for themselves.
I think it's definitely relevant to today's society, because although the play is set, post-war, it's all stuff that still happens every day. It is violence, it is mental health conditions, it is love and lust and family drama and all these things that everybody's experienced. It's the human condition. So we're all experiencing life, and this is just like a snapshot of life, and you could set this in any time period. It could be set Victorian, it could be set 20 years from now. It's all what we as humans experience all the time. So yeah, there's definitely resonance there. So
yeah, I mean, to the human experience, this is happening daily. Obviously, the volume's turned up to 11 on this, just because it is a theater piece, just to kind of give you the drama that is required for what you want to kind of have come for entertainment. But this is happening daily the world over. So it still resonates.
Well, it always will, I think. It's why it's a classic. My favorite moment. I'm really partial to the sweetness that is Blanche and Mitch's first set of interactions. There's just something about that, like, sweet candy flirting that's just so lovely to watch, and they do such a fantastic job of portraying that, early, fluttery, nervous beginnings of a relationship. So I think that might be one of my favorites, because it's such a heavy show, so it's nice to have a little bit of light in the darkness.
I've not identified a favorite moment yet. I obviously been living with this for quite a while, once we were given the opportunity to take on the direction of this. So between the readings and the studyings and everything, it changes for me every night. There's that piece. There's the Sam and Mitch, or Sam who's playing Mitch, and Blanche who's played by Sarah. Their little Romeo and Juliet moment after the big scene where, the whole Stella thing with Stanley. But I also love, the sister interactions. Those are really true, and it ebbs and flows for me. I'm thoroughly enjoying watching every moment, and again, once the show's over, I can probably give you 100 favorite moments.
I also think there's an element of beauty in the language spoken, because it is so beautifully written by Tennessee Williams. So some of Blanche's monologues are truly spectacular. The images that she paints with just words, and you watch her see it, and you see it with her. It's beautiful writing, beautiful language, and it's such a pleasure to put up on its feet a play that is so well written that you don't even have to try to make it sound good. You don't have to put any extra effort in to get this line to read a good way and this line to sound, like good dialogue. It's all so well written. It just flows off the page and into the actors' mouths and sounds fantastic. So I think it's just a privilege to see this classic brought to life. Well, this is my first directorial role, and It's a lot of work. It's quite hard, but also incredibly fulfilling. So, you know, you learn day by day, you learn little bits here and there as you're coordinating and planning and creating. And I learned that I'm better at blocking than I thought I'd be. It came out much easier than I expected. And I definitely learned that I really enjoy directing. This has been a lot of fun.
I have learned a lot working with Kayla as a duo, from an admin perspective to, you know, the creative side of things, to, you know, how do we feel the color tones of this should be and that should be, and kind of that a director definitely needs to come to the table with all of the decisions made, but when you've got someone else to make decisions with, you've got to be, you know, malleable. You've got to be able to flow with it and see where things come. And it's been a wonderful experience to kind of create together and have the outcome that we're having.